Well, after the most unending saga with the internet that I have ever experienced, we do seem to be back here, at least momentarily, from Michigan. You were watching the battle for second between Matt Hayden and Christian Schrader. That happened just after our first pit stop. We are under our first caution flag of the night. And as the drivers come back to pit road, we will double check this caution. And I think it's going to happen right here between Chris Weaver and Vicente Guerrero off into turn number 1. And you see contact between the 14 and the 88 of Weaver. They go around. Really, this is the Weaver machine that goes around. He's going to get hit, I believe, here by Elmore. Yes, he is. Brian Elmore's in this as well. And they are up into the outside retaining wall. Jordan Anderson trying to scramble out of the way. He was running the top as Weaver comes back down the speedway. And luckily for Weaver, no other contact here other than the contact with Brian Elmore. Take one more look at it here. And so as we continue to fight these issues on pit road, Hayden and Schrader are going to bypass Trey Galgan under the caution flag. So under this, the first caution of the night. It'll be Hayden and Schrader that now lead the way here from the Irish Hills. As we get ready to go back under the green flag here for the second time, it'll be Hayden, Schrader, Galgan, Dupree, Carlson, the top 5 on the speedway. As we get closed in on halfway, Galgan back to the lead here in turn number 1 on the restart. You saw him fly by our 2 leaders. Impressive drive so far from Trey Galgan. as he continues to lead the way over Hayden and Strader, who've been the class of the field all night. They will battle for second behind him. And we will keep an eye on that battle here for a quick moment involving the Hayden and Strader machines. As they all continue to run under a blanket. We'll go back through the field here for a moment as those guys do continue to battle. Dupree, Carlson, Elliott run 4th, 5th, and 6th. You see Adam Green is in the wall back behind them. You see these cars here. Hunter Carlson is actually driven all the way to 5th in this race, so good drive for him so far. Same for Elliott. How about Kosciolek, Anderson, Ryan Elmore, Bo Benham? They ran out their top 10. Adam Green goes for a slide here off turn number 2. He's way loose, but gets it back. And we go back up front where Trey Galgan continues to lead the way and pull away here as we close in on the halfway mark. 7 laps short of halfway in Michigan. It's Galgan, Strader, Hayden, Dupree, Carlson, the top 5. You see Strader has gotten by Matt Hayden, now tries to run down the leader, but Trey Galgan in a class of his own so far in this one. I mean, just really great work he's been doing to this point in the race. To get the lead, to maintain the lead, even through pit stops, and has driven back to the lead here on our first restart of the night. As Strader and Hayden start to see each other again here for second. And Isaiah Dupree starts to reel them both in, potentially for the 3rd position. Six laps short of the halfway mark in Michigan. And if you're just joining me, Vicente Guerrero and Brent Elmore are 1 lap down. Adam Green and Davey Weaver, Adam Green is 2 laps down. Davey Weaver and John Guerra have called it a night here just past 40 laps into this one at Michigan. Very discombobulated broadcast tonight. Not even going to tell you to share the link because I just am not sure at this point what our capabilities will be the rest of the way. I'll bring you as much of the rest of this race as I can. For now, shaping up to be a dominant performance by Trey Galgan. Christian Strader, Matt Hayden, the only 2 cars that have had any speed for him to this point in the race. You're looking at the black and maroon number 49 of Trey Galgan. Matt Hayden's had a problem, though. He's off in the grass. He's loose off turn number 4. He will lose some spots. He plummets to 6th. He's going to plummet to 7th here. All the way to 9th position before he eventually gets back up on the speedway. So a tough break here for Matt Hayden. The points leader has lost a ton of ground. He's all the way back to 12th position and continues to fade away. So a tough break there for Matt. We'll see what the 6th car can do to recover from that one. Galgan continues to lead. Strader has started to chop away at this lead just a little bit as we near halfway, 5 laps short of the halfway mark here in Michigan. As Galgan leads by over a second on Strader, but he has started again to chop away at that just the slightest bit. It's plateaued at right about 1.1 seconds. Dupree is 3 seconds back. Carlson 3.5. Travis Elliott 5. And from there it just continues to taper off. Best battle on the speedway is for the 6th position between Eric Kosciolek And Jordan Anderson and Brian Elmore. You see Anderson hounding the 7, about a car length off his bumper. Fastest car on the speedway that time by was the 4th place car of Hunter Carlson. Galgan starts to pull away again. The gap starts to grow one more time. And Kosciolek starts to pull away from Anderson again. So now the best battle on the speedway is actually going to be for the next spot. And that is 7th, as Brian Elmore has reeled in Jordan Anderson for that spot. Back up front for a moment as Galgan's lead starts to once again fade away. Galgan is up a second on Strader, but now a second flat. You see Strader now has started to close the gap. It's at about 12 car lengths right now as Galgan works his way into turn number 1 and up the banking. Still running right around that second line. Strader, we'll take a look at where he's running here in a moment, and we'll compare lap times between the two. A 40.79 for Galgan, a 40.73 for Strader. Fastest car on the racetrack the last time by was Eric Kosciolek with a 40.66. Second fastest was Matt Hayden with a 40.67. Look at where Strader's running. He's worked his way up the banking now. He runs right about that 3rd lane, which I love that line. It's my favorite line to run on this speedway. I love working my way up the banking. It's so much fun to be able to save tire up there. And that's what Strader has started to do from second. You see the difference there. Up close to that 3rd seat, but now he gets the outside wall. He will lose some more time. He actually was over a 10th slower that time by. Fastest car on the speedway was again Eric Kosciolek in the 7. So Galgan works past halfway now. We are past halfway home, if you can believe that already. Unfortunately, the technical issues kind of missed the start of this race. But not a lot occurred. The lineup was mostly the same. It's not changed a lot at this point in the race. We continue to work. Lap number 52. It'll be 53 when Galgan passes the start-finish line. And he does so right there. And off into turn number 1 again. Strader has continued to fade. 1.3 seconds now separate him. Well, right as I say that, he works into turn number 1 and starts to gain some of that time back. We'll look at lap times again. 41.13 for the leader. 41.18 for Christian Strader. Dupree slightly faster than both. And the fastest car on the speedway that time by, the 86 of Isaiah Dupree. Best battle on the racetrack is going to be for Dupree's 3rd position, as Hunter Carlson has made this scrappy here, coming within 3 car lengths of our 3rd place driver, Dupree. Problems here for Travis Elliott. He loses time in a hurry. I believe he got the wall on the exit of turn number 4. And he now falls into the grip of Eric Kosciolek. That'll be for P5. Dupree and Carlson continue to go at it here for the 3rd spot. Look at how high up Carlson's running, but slides it sideways. Has to grab that car off turn number 2, and now, as such, loses some ground to Isaiah Dupree. And not a lot else going on the speedway right now in terms of close battles. This battle will be here between Brent Elmore and Chris Weaver. This is for 14th. You see Matt Hayden running up in front of these guys. We'll check lap times here. In terms of fastest on the speedway, last time by, it was again the third-place car of Isaiah Dupree, 41.17. Is almost 0.2 faster than everybody on the speedway. So Isaiah Dupree has found some speed late run. This for 14th. As here comes Chris Weaver in the 88 trying to recover from his earlier incident with Vicente Guerrero. And he will get the spot right there for 14th. In turn number 4. Wow, Galgan's loose that time. Everybody struggling to find some grip. So Galgan struggling for grip, Strader struggling for grip. Everybody is trying to find that precious grip around this racetrack. But the lead continues to grow. It's up over 2 seconds now for Galgan. Not a lot, again, not a lot going on. These guys are way strung out, which I figured would happen at some point. You see there on the left how strung out these guys are. Closest battle is Dupree and Carlson. They are half a second apart. $44 laps to go here in Michigan. We know at least one more pit stop is coming. I believe it will be 2. As Jordan Anderson's experienced a problem here in the 9th position. He lost it off turn number 4, but lose some ground. He'll lose a spot here to Matt Hayden in turns 1 and 2. As Hayden crawls back inside the top 10, he'll get 9th right here from Jordan Anderson as he goes by on the outside of the racetrack. Dupree and Carlson going to go at it again here in turns 3 and 4. As Carlson has run down the 86 again. As they come up off turn number 4, and now Carlson loses some more ground right as we put the camera on him, so the battle again fades. We go back up front to Trey Galgan, who has run this race. He started on pole and has led all but a few laps. After that pit cycle put him 4th on the restart. He drove right back to the lead and has not looked back since. He is really searching for grip now. You can tell we are in a late run stage here. There will be 2 more pit stops, I believe, as Adam Green's experienced a problem. Yep, he is loose on the apron. Actually, he went ahead and come to pit road. And pit stops are underway. Brian Elmore is on pit road on lap number 59. So pit stop's going to get underway. Trey Galgan, nice comfortable lead. Can come whenever he chooses here. Off into turn number 3. It's Galgan again, still with the lead. Strader almost 3 seconds back now as Galgan has continued to set sail here on the rest of the field. Shades of Sebastian Marin at times on these intermediates, 2 miles. It's what we've been used to seeing out of the driver of the 23 tonight. It's the driver of the 49. Galgan's on pit road this time by Strader, Carlson, Elliott, Koscielik, Maleta, Guerrero, and Brent Elmore. Matt Hayden will also bring his car to pit road, and that leaves 1 car on the speedway. And that is Isaiah Dupree, who likely will go ahead and come on to pit road this time by. On lap 61, we're inside of 40 laps to go at the Michigan International Speedway here in the Irish Hills. Dupree, I believe, will cede the lead this time by to come to pit road. Appears to be signaling that he is coming to pit road, and he will cede the lead here on lap 61. Cody Eldred may take a turn out front here if he decides to stay on the speedway, and we'll see if he comes to pit road this time by on lap 61 or if he decides to lead a lap. Appears that he's going to stay on the speedway, so Eldred's going to run it long. He will inherit the lead. when he passes by Isaiah Dupree. So for a moment, he will lead the field here in Michigan. As Galgan lost a little bit of lead to Strader there on pit road. It's about 1.6 second difference between the two cars, but with how Galgan runs late in the run, imagine it will take a little bit more heroics here from Christian Strader to be able to run him down and pass him. Seems to be Trey Galgan's night shaping up so far on lap number 62. Again, I want to thank everybody that stuck around. I mean, this is certainly an unprecedented issue that we had at the beginning of this race. It caused us to miss the first 15 laps, unfortunately. Uncontrollable circumstances regarding the connection held us up from watching the first little bit of this race. Eldred will pit, and that will leave the lead here to Trey Galgan as he comes by the start-finish line and will retake the lead. And as he does, there will be 38 laps to go here in the Irish Hills. One more pit stop remaining for these drivers. A 2-second gap between Galgan and Christian Strader and the rest of the field. Notably, Carlson has cycled out in front of Dupree. Dupree ran it long and allowed Carlson to cycle here to third under this green flag run. Matt Hayden is back up to ninth, and he's got some considerable work to do. But he is one of the fastest cars on the speedway, so we'll have to see what he can continue to get done. 39.23 that time by for Galgan. 39.47 for Strader. Galgan is starting to cruise just a little bit. His lap time's very, very good. So far, the fastest to come across this time by as he takes 37 laps to go in Michigan. .65 are up on the board. Only the one caution to show for it between Guerrero and Chris Weaver earlier in the night. Since then, we've been clean and green. And now into the final stretch of this race, the home stretch, as Galgan, man, continues to put on one of the more dominant performances that I can remember seeing in this series. Continues to be almost a tenth faster than the rest of the field. Now Dupree, on a little bit newer tires, is the closest car to him in terms of pace. That time by for Galgan. He goes 39.8. Strader goes 39.8 too. And the third place car, Dupree. Actually, it's not Strader. Problems for Christian Strader. As he went off the track, lost it off turn number 4, and will lose some spots. So that hands second over to Carlson. So now you're watching the battle for what's going to be for second. As Dupree, man, look at how quickly he's running that car down. He's back to 3 car lengths back of that 2 machine of Hunter Carlson. Carlson's going to have to go low. Dupree going to be able to make up some ground here as Carlson had to deal with the lap car there of Adam Green, who thought about going to the bottom side. Instead has to stay up against the wall. Dupree actually does not gain very much. Still about 4 car lengths difference. As again, it's the battle for second that you're watching right now. And here we go. The battle for second is on. Dupree to the inside of Hunter Carlson. This is for second. Dupree with about 5-lap newer tires than Carlson. He will sail on by and take the second spot. Back up front, it is all Trey Galgan. Continuing to put on a show. One of the new drivers for Season 2 of this series. shown some speed on these kinds of tracks already this season. Can remember back to, I want to say it was Chicagoland, perhaps, one of the early races of the season. That he was very, very good in that race and showed speed. It just didn't work out for him on strategy late in the race. Well, tonight the strategy almost doesn't seem to matter. He's on his own planet in terms of pace. Last time by a 40.32. Strader ran a little bit, or Dupree, ran a bit better lap, but continues to lose time. He's 3.5 seconds back of the leader. A nice cushion here for Trey Galgan. Dupree the fastest car on the speedway last time out of the 40.2. Identical lap that time by for Galgan, who goes 40.34. Dupree that time loses a tenth to him, goes 40.43. Okay, this is Sebastian Marin, Tyler Bentley levels of dominance on one of these kinds of tracks that we have not seen in the two-season run besides those two drivers. So Galgan continues to lead. We know one more pit stop awaits as we are now inside of 30 to go here in the virtual Irish Hills for round 7 of the Throwback Series. Now make it 29 laps to go. So again, one more pit stop coming up, and it will be probably right around the lap 80 number to go ahead and split that run in half and be good to go all the way to the end of this one. And again, I mean, there's not been much contest here for the leader. Now there will be some contest here for second. Carlson had started to reel in Isaiah Dupree just a little bit. This would be for second spot. Adam Green makes another pit stop here under lap 72. "28 laps to go here in Michigan, though, and again, clean and green for about the last 50 laps now since the caution flag involving Weaver and Guerrero. 13 cars on the lead lap, and they are Trey Galgan, who leads now by 4 seconds over Isaiah Dupree. Hunter Carlson, great run for him. All this talk about Trey Galgan has kind of overshadowed the run that Hunter Carlson's having right now. Another good run for him. Keeps him in the thick of this points battle at the top of the standings. So great run for the two tonight. In the third position, Travis Elliott was what we're used to seeing out of him. Running in the fourth position. Christian Strader has had some issues, but continues to run fifth. It's Eric Cascioli coming one of his best runs in the Throwback Series. He runs in the 6th position. Matt Hayden, our points leader, runs in the 7th position. Should be more than enough to maintain his points lead should he finish right here in the 7th position. It's Brian Elmore in the 8th spot with Bo Benham running 9th. He actually has the best battle on the racetrack right now between himself and the 10th place Jordan Anderson, who gets awfully close to his back bumper there in 1 and 2, but stays off of him. Trying to dive out of the dirty air. This is going to be a pretty good battle right here, I think, for the 9th position here in a moment, so we will keep it here. Anderson having another pretty good run. Bo Benham, a Daytona winner here in this series last season. He holds on to that spot. Anderson runs a half a lane lower and now starts to arc down the racetrack, trying to find some clean air. But will not find it right now. Drops in still about a car length, 2 car lengths off the back bumper of Bo Benham. Chris Weaver runs in 11th spot. Nice recovery after his early incident with Vicente Guerrero. It's Cody Eldred in the 12th position. And he was the third driver I was thinking about earlier in the points battle. And another good run for him tonight. Now it'll lose him a little bit of ground to Matt Hayden, but not much. If he were to finish right where he's at right now, it's Andrew Maletta in the 13th spot. Vicente Guerrero is 14th now. the first car a lap down. Brent Elmore runs 15th. He is also 1 lap down. And then you have Adam Green, who's now 5 laps down. Davey Weaver and John Guerra have called it a night. You see that number tick over in the top left of your screen. That means we are inside of 25 laps to go here in the Throwback Series from Michigan, as the dominance continues here for Trey Galgan. We know one more pit stop is left. I would imagine about 5 laps from now would be when you'd make that stop. Galgan off into turn number 1. He's going to lap Andrew Maletta next, just up in front of him here in turns 1 and 2. Chris Weaver is on pit road. Again, about 4 laps until we figure that we see the leaders pit. That would split the run in half into 2 20-lap stages, essentially, and be able to make them able to run all the way to the end of this one. Galgan, a healthy 4-second lead on the remainder of the field. Gets a little bit loose there off turn 4. Maletta trying to give him some clean air. And now we'll give way, and Galgan goes on by. Fastest car on track last time by was actually Adam Green, a 41.15. Of the lead lap cars, it was your leader, Trey Galgan, a 41.43. 23 to go. Clean and green. Appears it's going to stay that way. Plenty of potential for some mistakes on pit road. We'll see if that happens to any of our leaders as we reach our final pit stop here in the next couple laps. 22 laps to go as Galgan passes. We expect to see the leaders in the next 3 laps or so with their final service of the night. Dupree starts to pick up some time just a little. Got it down to 3.5 seconds. Starts to pick up a little bit here late in the run. Best battle on the speedway, though, is going to be for 5th. Excuse me, for 4th. Travis Elliott and Christian Strader. Strader got by Elliott. Now Elliott has gotten back to the back bumper of Strader. And a good battle has ensued. 21 laps to go. Elliott to the inside. Strader going to use the top side of the racetrack here. Actually run up by the fence. And is going to get the fence. Strader up into the outside wall. Couldn't hold it off the wall there in turns 1 and 2. And Elliott will drive forward to the 4th spot. But now he gets the wall on the exit of turn number 2. Problems again for Adam Green. He has spun it here on the apron of turn number 4. And he'll come to pit road. And smoke pours out the back of the 777. 20 laps to go from the Irish Hills in round 7 of the Throwback Series. And it has been all Trey Galgan since the jump of this race. I'll actually go ahead and look at our upcoming schedule here before this pit cycle gets underway. We're at Michigan this week. Next week will be Bristol. Now, I will tell you there will most likely, again, not guaranteed yet, but most likely be no broadcast next week. Again, scheduling, I'll be out of town again. For the 3rd time in 4 weeks. On a Thursday, I'll be out of town again. But Bristol is next week. We head back to Darlington after that for our 2nd race there in this series. As pit stops are underway, Matt Hayden, Jordan Anderson, Isaiah Dupree, Brent Elmore, Brian Elmore, and others have pit with 19 laps to go. We'll go to Darlington in 2 weeks. We'll go to Richmond the week after that, then Dover. And then we'll go to Kansas Speedway. That'll be a fun one. After that, we'll go to Charlotte for our 2nd visit there. We'll go to Martinsville on May 2nd. We'll go to Talladega on May the 9th. We'll go to Phoenix on May the 16th. And on May the 23rd, the Thursday of Memorial Day weekend, Thursday before Memorial Day weekend, we will wrap up our season in Homestead, Miami to crown a champion in season number 2. Galgan still on the speedway, as is Christian Strader. You imagine you'd see Galgan here shortly come down pit road for his final pit service of the night. He is slowed way up here in turns 3 and 4. He will bring the 49 car to pit road. This time by. Galgan is on pit road for his final service. Christian Strader, Travis Elliott also bring their cars to pit road. Eric Kosciolik will bring his car to pit road, and now it remains to be seen here with Galgan coming into his box. For Small, can he make sure he gets in his box? He does just fine. He's up on the jack. Dupree is into 3. Final battle of the night, potentially. Can Dupree get anywhere close to Galgan here off the pit lane? He's up on the jack on the left side now. And off the jack goes Trey Galgan. He slides him a little bit on exit. And it may be pretty close. Dupree, did the short pit work? Yes, it did. How about Isaiah Dupree? He calls the audible. And did he just win himself his first race of the year? He continues to drive away. We'll have to see once Galgan gets up to speed how much of a gap he's going to have to try to run down. Man, what a call by Isaiah Dupree. We talk about it so much, the short pit strategy. I talked about it for weeks. For weeks on these intermediates about if you short pit enough, especially on a dominant car, you can leapfrog them, put the pressure on them to run you back down, and Isaiah Dupree has done just that. 16 laps to go in Michigan. Galgan has 2.3 seconds to make up on Isaiah Dupree. How hard will Isaiah Dupree be to pass if and when Galgan gets to his back bumper? It's been his night. All night long, it's been his night. It's felt like destiny. With the driver of the 49 and now behind the 8 ball, but look at that time on the left side of your screen. Galgan is cutting into the gap. We'll start to check lap times this time by as they both register their first full laps since the pit stop. Dupree past the line. He goes 39.55. Past the line for Galgan. He goes 39.34. At 2/10 quicker. He's going to make up 2 seconds in 10 laps. He'll be there with 5 laps to go. There you see him on the right side of your screen come into frame. Into turn number 3, another Throwback Series battle looms. Dupree to the bottom of turn number 3, 15 laps to go in Michigan, but Galgan is on his horse. A second and a half separate the 2 leaders. Dupree almost got the outside wall. It's another few tenths that time by for Galgan at the line. 39.72. Galgan goes 39.24. Is Dupree doing any saving here? 14 laps to go. Galgan 1.3 seconds back. It stalls a little bit here on the backstretch this time by Dupree. A little bit better 1 and 2 that time, but it's down to 1.2 seconds. Catching him is one thing, passing is another. Now Dupree, notably, is using that upper line now. He's kind of transitioned up the racetrack. A much better lap that time by. He goes 39.89. Galgan goes 39.47. Dupree in a 1. 13 laps to go in the Michigan. Galgan has continued to close. It's under 1 second. Now it's down to 0.8 of a second. How hard does Dupree push it here with Galgan quickly closing on his tail? Everybody else is pretty much down and out for the most part. We may have some battles for position throughout the field as we go here in the final, but we're going to keep it here for a moment because Trey Galgan is running some of the best short run that we have seen all night here in Michigan. He has continued to be 0.4 quicker than Dupree. But now my question would be, how much saving is Dupree doing? It's now half a second difference. Galgan is there. 8 car lengths separate our 2 leaders. Dupree up the speedway. Galgan runs down a lane trying to find some clean air. Through turns 1 and 2. Dupree continues to lead. Galgan slides it loose. Almost got the outside wall. That was almost a mistake that cost him 0.4 of a second. About 6 car lengths separate our 2 leaders. Dupree, does he go defensive line? Yes, he does. He's going to defend, try to put some dirty air on the nose of the 49 of Galgan. Galgan tries to cut through the dirty air and plateaus the gap at 0.2 of a second. 4 car lengths, maybe down to 3, maybe down to 2. Here's a pass to line, 11 laps to go. Mano Dupree versus Galgan. Dupree's been here before, Galgan has not. Closes up to the back bumper, half a car length for the lead on the exit of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. Trey Galgan to the inside of Isaiah Dupree. He thunders on by. They're going to be side by side for a moment, but not for long. New leader again in Michigan. Trey Galgan ran down Dupree and retakes the race lead. Slips a little there in 3 and 4. Dupree going to come back to his back bumper. Does Dupree have full control? Half a car length separate our 2 leaders. Does Dupree have anything for him? Half a car length as he closes up to the back bumper. 10 laps to go this time by. Dupree, does he take a look? No, going to stay in line and back up the corner. Galgan pulls away by 2 car lengths. Does Dupree try to get some exit speed here? Car length difference, 2 car length difference. And Dupree starts to fade in the mirror. Trey Galgan is 10 laps, making 9.5 laps. Away from an 8 with Destiny. He now can set sail. The gap starts to grow. The short pit held on for a moment. It does not ultimately work in the long run. 9 laps to go for the 49 of Trey Galgan. Galgan through the corner again. He'll come down and get 8 laps to go this time by. And he continues to inch closer. Now these laps, from experience, I can tell you, these laps when you're leading at tracks like this, they tend to take longer and longer and longer. And they feel like an eternity, these last few especially. Quick note, Matt Hayden has worked his way all the way back up to the 5th position. What a recovery for him after that issue we saw earlier in the race. He could end up getting 4th. We'll see if he runs down Christian Strader in the closing stages of this race. Galgan continues to lead halfway down the backstretch and off into turn number 3 again, with now only 7 laps to go. He'll lap by Cody Eldred, who currently runs in the 11th spot here off turn number 4. And again, no problem. 6 laps to go from the Irish Hills. Not even really any battles on the speedway to talk about, at least at this point in time. As Galgan continues to run laps, everybody is really spread out now. As only 5 laps remain. It'll be another long run here on a Thursday. It'll be about 75 laps of clean and green racing. A couple cars get side by side. That's Bo Benham. He runs 10th. He's about to also fall victim to the leader. He'll go a lap down here into turn number 3. Gap has grown to 2.5 seconds. Galgan is cruising. 4 laps to go. On a night where we focused on the points battle and Matt Hayden and Christian Strader and all of that, Trey Galgan says, "You're forgetting somebody." And goes and steals the spotlight away for himself. And boy, has he earned it. Again, a Marin-level performance. We've seen Sebastian Marin do this before on these mile-and-a-half tracks where he just pulls away and nobody can touch him all night. And that is exactly the case right now. 3 laps to go. As Galgan will lap Chris Weaver. That will be the 9th place car that goes a lap down here into turn number 3. Incredible stuff tonight for the driver of the 49. Incredible stuff by several drivers in this field. Eric Kosciolik's going to end up with his best run in the series if he holds his 6th position from here on out. Brian Elmore recovering from an early incident. He's 7th. How about Jordan Anderson in 8th? Chris Weaver recovering to get inside the top 10. Great runs all around by several. Hunter Carlson will make another statement run in terms of keeping in this points battle. As we have 3 miles to go. A night filled with so many technical issues and everything you could possibly throw at a race. Luckily, we did get the last portion of this race without issue. And that's going to work really well for the man leading the field. White flag, 1 lap to go in Michigan. Trey Galgan, this is dominance of the highest order tonight. By far the class of the field and proves he belongs here on Thursdays. He led the last 70 laps of this one. Multiple pit stop cycles. And he's planted his flag. He said, "I'm here on Thursdays and I'm here to compete." Add it to the list. After Strader got his first win, we're going to add another one to the club. Off turn number 4 and down to the checkered flag. Trey Galgan is a Throwback Series winner. He wins in the Irish Hills. Dominance of the highest order is what I called it, and it could not be more true. And for the first time, he is a winner here on a Thursday night. An incredible run. And I imagine we'll get some hearty celebrations here as he comes out of the front straightaway. And he will burn it down, and he has deserved the right to do this. Trey Galgan, your winner in Michigan. We'll see here if he goes and parks it in Gatorade Victory Lane, which, if you'll remember, at Michigan is on the front straightaway. He's going to park it right at the line, I believe. We'll see if he does. Go ahead and drive over there. Yeah, there he goes. Right down to Gatorade Well, I thought he was going to go down there to Victory Lane. He's not going to make the trip to Victory Lane. I thought he was going to. Instead, decides to go ahead and pull it off the racetrack. We'll give you your finishing results here live from the Michigan International Speedway as Trey Galgan gets the victory in the 49 machine. Another great run for Isaiah Dupree. I thought he might have had something there on that last pit stop. Instead, comes up 1 spot short in the 2nd position. Hunter Carlson finishes 3rd tonight with Christian Strader in 4th. And Matt Hayden, your points leader, recovers to finish in the 5th position. Eric Kosciolek, how about that finish for him? He finishes 6th. Brian Elmore, we talked about his recovery, in 7th. Same with Jordan Anderson in 8th, and Chris Weaver in 9th. And Cody Eldred continues to hang around the points battle. He finishes in the 10th position. Bo Benham finishes 11th. Vicente Guerrero in 12th. Andrew Maleta in 13th. Brent Elmore 14th. Travis Elliott in 15th. Adam Green finishes in 16th tonight with Davey Weaver in 17th. And John Guerra rounding out the 18-car field. We're going to get into your post-race show. We're going to do some post-race interviews here for just a moment with our top 3 cars. And we will go ahead and start that right now with the man who finished in the 3rd position, the man who continues to hang around the points battle. I'll make sure everything's all set so that we can all hear him when he gets in here. And we will get this post-race show rolling here from Michigan. We will start with the man who's finished in the 3rd position tonight, Hunter Carlson in the 2. Hunter, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Well, a great effort for you tonight. Continue to just rack up points and do so, I won't say under the radar, but certainly you drove your way through the field tonight to come home and finish 3rd. Take me through your race, through your strategy, and how you got to a 3rd-place finish.
Well, it honestly didn't start as well as I planned. I came in here rather slow and figured I didn't know what the race was gonna come to, and I just tried to figure out as long as I stay in the draft, I'll be fine. Lost the draft. Coming to pit road, first time, got a really good entry, got some draft, and I finally figured out how to run the race about halfway through, about where you see me start picking them off. I thought we were going to have issues with fuel there, but that caution kind of saved me a little bit, which was nice.
Well, regardless of 3rd-place finish for you, it just continues this streak of consistency. And now we've seen you start to pick up the finishes ever since last season when we saw you enter the series. Just kind of take me through, the growth as we've gone through this series. And even as we've gone through this season, you continue to hang around these guys that are at the top of the standings and really continue to rack up good runs. Just, take me through the growth that you've experienced over the course of this season.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like iRating and pure driver skill, these are some of the fastest racers I see from week to week, even in officials and any other leagues I'm in. A lot of it's just me just trying to get used to the car. I'm coming to a lot of these tracks for the first time, and the more comfortable I get with the car, it seems faster I get, the more consistent I'm getting. I'm not burning the tires off halfway through the run, and it seems to be helping me with these better finishes.
Another one for you tonight, position number 3 for you here in the Irish Hills of Michigan. So before we let you go and celebrate this 3rd-place finish, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Fast Angry Racing Team. Thank you for keeping me cool, calm, and collected through these races. Sometimes they can get a little heated, but for the most part, they helped me a lot. And Christian for being a good teammate out there. And I was hoping to see him up here in the podium with me, but I guess that didn't seem to happen. But he had a good run out as well.
Well, congratulations tonight on a 3rd-place finish. Another consistent run for you. Go celebrate it. Go enjoy it. And we will see you in Bristol.
Thank you, Dawson.
That is Hunter Carlson in the 2. He finishes 3rd in tonight's race. It brings us the man who finished in the 2nd position, Isaiah Dupree, in the 86. Hey, Isaiah, it's Dawson in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what. You had me fooled. With about 20 to go, you come to pit road. You did what I had talked about for weeks, and short pit to try to get back in front of Trey. It doesn't work out for you. You still finish 2nd. Take me through what went up to that decision and overall your effort tonight to get a 2nd-place finish.
Yeah, I knew I had to do something different tonight. I was going to catch Trey there on that last run, so I was hoping the fuel window would open up a little bit earlier than it did, but I was able to get in there a lap ahead of him and build a gap, and I was kind of hoping that either he'd make a mistake chasing me or there wasn't enough time, but I found out pretty quickly that that wasn't going to be the case, so I'm just happy to bring home 2nd. Pretty good points today, setting me up for the future.
Well, yeah, you continue to rack up the points. Now, you do have some ground to make up in the standings, so, what's the game plan going forward here to try to catch these guys at the top of the standings? We know you can be consistent, but what's the game plan to get ahead of those guys and continue to rack up points?
Yeah, like you said, just try to stay consistent. There's 2 seconds and then a win before that, so just keep doing what I'm doing, try to get the top 3s and just claw back in points and not make any mistakes.
Well, tonight, certainly a good example of that. You finish in the second position. So before we let you go and celebrate it a little bit, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you for the broadcast again. Always great to have you out here. Thanks, Alex, for the league, and then Cody for adminning, and then Cody and the rest of the guys at MadWorks for being great teammates.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us for a second. Congratulations on a second-place run tonight, and we will see you next week in Bristol.
All right, take it easy.
That is Isaiah Dupree, and that leads us to the man of the hour, the man in victory lane, and quite frankly, the man who put on the most dominant performance that we've seen on one of these intermediates since last season when Sebastian Marin really took it to the field in some of those mile-and-a-half races, and that is Trey Galgan. Hey, Trey, it's Dawson in the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Well, I called it dominance tonight. You lead the last 70 laps of the race after qualifying on pole. You have to drive through the field a little bit on the restart there on lap 25, but never looked back. How'd you do it? I mean, pure dominance tonight. You were by far the class of the field. How did you get to victory lane here tonight?
I guess pretty much luck tonight. I wasn't even planning on racing tonight, but decided to race tonight and was able to figure out the right line to run tonight, and was just able to stay confident, run my laps, and keep the tires under me, and was able to hold them off, luckily, and was able to do the right field strategy tonight, not like Chicagoland a few weeks ago.
Well, you do finish the job tonight. I got to ask, 20 laps to go. Isaiah Dupree comes to pit road. He comes out in front of you. What went into your response? We saw you just kind of keep calm, keep running your laps, and then drive on by him. But, what was going through your mind when Isaiah comes out of pit road and he's ahead of you there on that last cycle?
I thought he was going to have enough tire to keep in front of me, but I just, stay calm, cool, and collected, and was fortunate enough to able to run him down. And by the time I got to him, he burned his tires out, and I was able to capitalize and pass him, and set sail and take the checker flag.
Well, I asked Christian this a few weeks ago when I got to call his first win in Pocono. I'll ask you the same question I did for him. You got the first one off your back now. I know it's a lot of pressure to get to victory lane the first time. So what can we expect now that you got your first win? What can we expect out of you the next few weeks?
Well, if I get to run, it'll be the same old, just come in here and, just take care of the car and take care of the tires, and just watch the people around me, and just be there in the end. As long as we're there in the end, and have a shot, we can maybe capitalize on something, or possibly have like a race like today and have a dominant race. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Well, absolutely. Well, you're in victory lane tonight. Before we let you go and celebrate and enjoy this win, is there anybody you'd like to thank or shout out?
A couple guys, G3 Graphics, Admin Box, and Keep Digging Apparel. Those three guys jump on board of the car this year, so I'd like to shout them out. Great people. So other than that, yeah.
Well, congratulations tonight on a dominant win here in Michigan. Go enjoy it and go celebrate, and we will see you soon.
All right, thank you.
That's going to do it for our post-race interviews tonight. Trey Galgan, I said it before, I'll say it again. Dominant effort tonight. By far the most dominant we have seen in a while. Tyler Bentley comes to mind. He used to do this to the field several weeks back over the course of last season on his way to a championship. Trey Galgan wins tonight in Michigan, and what a race it was. Another pretty clean race, only one caution. Obviously, again, apologies for the technical issues. Just, circumstances that we can't really control, unfortunately, when it all comes down to it here. With how this how this thing works with the internet and all that. Unfortunately, can't really control those circumstances sometimes, but apologies again for that. No broadcast next week from Bristol, most likely. Check here on Thursday just in case, but I will most likely be out of town by next Thursday. So unfortunately, no broadcast again next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks from the Darlington Raceway on the final week of March to take you through all of the action from Darlington, South Carolina, as we continue on through this season and continue to work towards crowning our Season 2 champion here in the Throwback Series. Head over to the Ghost Racing Network right now. I don't actually know if the broadcast is live quite yet, but it will be here shortly. For PGR Esports Thursday night series, the Elite Eight of March Madness is tonight over on the Ghost Racing Network. That's where I'm headed right after this to help Austin Green call the action over there as the Craftsman trucks take to Daytona. That's going to be a fun one. Head over there right now and check out the Ghost Racing Network tonight. A lot of fun stuff coming up here over the next several weeks. Some of the playoffs are about to begin here in the next couple weeks for the OP Racing Grand National Series on Wednesdays. Check that out. I'll be on the racetrack for those. I believe KR is going to be back in the broadcast booth next Wednesday for the final regular season race as we get closer and closer to the end of the season there. The Saturday night OP Racing Butt Kicker Unlimited Series playoffs are already underway over on Max Speed TV with Josh Medlock on Saturday nights, so go check those out as well. And then the OP Racing Premier Super Speedway Series on Monday nights enter into their playoffs here in several weeks as well. Fun stuff coming up in OP. Fun stuff coming up here on Thursdays. I want to thank everybody for sticking with me, sticking it out tonight through all the issues. Hopefully, again, that will not happen over the next several weeks that we are here. Out of the Ghost Racing Network, PGR Esports coming up next over there from Daytona National Speedway. My name is Dawson Wise.